mentioned his name a few times, so let's talk more about Kill Tony, I guess. With Tony Hinchcliffe was on Story Wars. I thought they brought up some interesting comparisons to Kill Tony, but mainly I wanted to play this just as an excuse to talk about Story Wars, which I think is actually a better live show than Kill Tony. I think Kill Tony both gets too much shit and praise. I think people look at that like something you said earlier, where elevating bad comedy or whatever. Kill Tony's a lightning rod for that, where like because Hans Kim and William Montgomery are out like headlining, maybe before they should be, like people blame Tony Hinchcliffe. I blame the people. I don't want to keep bringing up the Douglas Murray thing, but like Douglas Murray was all pissed off that a guy like Dave Smith has a voice. Basically, he's upset that there's a sort of a following that really trusts guys like Dave Smith or whoever the hell else he was talking about, Ian Carroll or these other voices. You have to blame the individuals, blame the people that follow them. If there are people that blindly listen to everything Dave Smith says without looking into it more themselves, that's their fault. It's not Dave Smith's fault. Dave gives his opinions, and then you can do with them what you wish. It's the same argument with Rogan, where like if Rogan talks about ivermectin, it's on you if you put it in your body and something bad happens. For Rogan, it worked. Like, so I don't know what they were shitting on him for. And there's a lot of that with Kill Tony, where it's like people are mad that it's successful because they don't think Cam Patterson is funny, you know? And I think that's a weird thing to be mad at. I kind of like Kill Tony because I think it does what Last Comic Standing couldn't do. They figured out how to give comics a platform that are unknown to kind of promote themselves, and you're able to learn about them through the interviews and all that stuff. Like Tim Heidecker did a parody of Kill Tony. I thought about playing it on the show this week, but ultimately I was like, me criticizing this would be too nitpicky because it was kind of funny. Like there's a true element to the stuff that Tim Heidecker hates about Kill Tony, but a lot of it comes from, as we talked about last time with Tim Heidecker and Tony Hinchcliffe, a lot of it comes from jealousy. They hate Tony's attitude, and Tony is very smug and hateable at times, so I get that. But they hate that Tony has this massive ego and now has the success to match it. And people are very jealous and bitter about that, but ultimately it is a good live show. All of that to say, I think Story Wars has surpassed it. I think it's actually a better live show. But Tony Hinchcliffe was a guest on it this week and made some funny observations.
Holy shit. This is a very, very exciting panel.
This is a crazy panel. I'm very excited to have all of you guys on competing on Story Wars. There's maybe a new Story Warrior crowned tonight.
I love the fact that you guys finally took my advice and started a show with a format and tables and red microphones and buckets. This is very exciting, really smart.
Wow, did not think about the buckets.
When does the cat make a noise exactly?
If you take too long to tell your story, then...
But I'm going to bring out the angry West Hollywood bear.
Lewis is the angry North Jersey bear.
Yes, I am.
Jay is bread ban.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
But there is, like, Story Wars is a very cool thing, and it's not, like, if you don't like the thing about Kill Tony, where it's elevating these people that just come on and think saying... like retard shit deserves a laugh. Story Wars is very different, where it's like established comedians and you kind of get to know them through these stories. It's actually a very cool show. And me and the old lady, if we're in on a Friday night, that's become our go-to programming every week. So and it is funny because like there are comparisons like Tony's making, and obviously he's being funny with it, but it is like a totally different thing than I've seen in comedy. I think it's weird if you walk in and you're expecting stand-up. Like that happens sometimes where they can tell the crowd doesn't quite know the show. But I think that is because it's a very unique thing that they're doing. And I think it's very cool. I'm a big fan of Story Wars, which is why I wanted to take a moment to promote it here. But Tony keeps pointing out the similarities throughout the program.
Mike, they're going to tell us the rules now.
Okay, good. Yeah, so we're hearing about the rules, which is a similar. Tony does start Kill Tony by telling you what you're about to see. So I guess there's a similarity there.
Well, that's every game show, though. So
That's fair.
Guess whose story it is.
And for each story you guess correctly, you get 2 points. And for every person you fool, you get 1 point. Once you write the name on the dry erase board, put the dry erase board in this slot right here and remove your hand. That is your final answer.
Someone also pointed out that when you do a good job, you get a book, which is also very much like Kill Tony.
Hey, listen, man, copy what works. Seems to be working.
The one thing that is frustrating that holds Gas Digital podcasts back is, and it seems like Alex, their producer, does a good job, but like some of them, Lewis just hires like drug addicts. There are people brought in that at the start, I think, like a lot of the interns, I think, start out working for free. I don't know if they get paid or not. So the staff, I do think, holds them back at times, which is the next thing that Tony points out.
Well, you know the feeling, Mike. Technical difficulty.
I have a sneaking suspicion this TV's not on again.
No, it's going to be on. You're fine, Jim.
All right. Okay. Well, then, Alex, without any further ado. Up.
This happened the first show too, right?
No, it's
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
It is on.
Yeah.
okay.
Story number 1.
It's not on.
That's not
Do
on.
you guys have a bigger TV
Not
budget?
on. It's not
Story
on.
number 1.
We're looking at an iPad.
Oh, no.
This show ain't gonna be picked up
I
by
see the
Netflix
mouse.
anytime soon.
I remember Kill Tony was like this 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember. You're
We have a
building
lot
it
of
up.
catching
You're
up to do.
learning and working out the kinks. By the time you guys
Hey,
are
look, we got the buckets and the red microphones. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of what Story Warz is doing, and I do think it's to me, it feels. I haven't been to Story Warz Live. I have actually been to Kill Tony at Skankfest. Well, I guess I have been to Story Warz Live as well. And if Story Warz feels like a cooler experience, you know, like I hope it keeps growing.
Sorry, Mike. Sorry.
We mentioned the technical difficulties.
Yep, that was just God did that to us. I mocked him on this Easter, and he did that to me. How dare you? Yeah. When I move back to the other scene, anything that plays just starts playing. That won't happen again, Mike.
Point being, go check out Story Warz.
I called my shot there, though. I said you have terrible producers, and then I called my shot.
I really thought that's what you were doing. I thought that was the joke.
No, it was. No, totally what I was doing there.
Go to blindmike.net for everything Blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Krager's did it.